Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Brielle Jungblut, and today we are with Coach Kenny Thomas, the baseball coach. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. When you look at your roster, people think of depth. How big is it for your team to pretty much return with a wealth of talent from last year?
Well, obviously, you can't replace experience, and that's been a big thing this year that we've talked about as coaching staff, and we are very experienced, a lot of depth with some newcomers fitting in, but the biggest thing is all the returners that we have that played that were big-time contributors last year. So depth's everything in our sport. There's no question about it, and you know, experience is the number one thing that you always look for. So this one has a lot of that, of both of them.
That's good. You have a couple school record holders, Ty Barkell and Tyler Moore. What does it mean to have both these players back this year?
Well, Ty Barkell's been a 4-year starter for us, so that's obviously big at first base. And Tyler Moore's this will be his 3rd year as a starter for us, and they're potentially big-time players, no doubt about it. I mean, they're impact guys. So, but we have a lot of those guys. You know, we can add 4 or 5 more to that list. But obviously, with Ty Barkell being here 4 years, he's kind of the senior leader, and he knows the ropes. And Tyler Moore is kind of the same way, a local guy that's been here 3 years and been an impact player. So those are big-time contributors, we hope, for us.
You've had a few additions to your pitching staff. Can you talk about just 1 or 2 that will have immediate impact?
Well, I mean, there's several that I think could have big impacts, but for sure, Forrest Kumis. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, he pitched the national championship game for South Carolina. So obviously, he's been there and done that. So you know, him being a senior transfer, but coming off an injury last year, but potentially has the ability to be a unbelievable big-time pitcher in this league. And then you can add Hutto, and you can add Davis, and you can have Marlowe, and I mean, all those new guys are pretty good, and there's no question about it. So we're very excited about our pitching staff, very excited, and you know, we're still having trouble deciding who's going to be our weekend guys because we got some returners that are pretty good too, and like Ben Black and Yobi, and of course our bullpen is pretty well set with Coley and Hunter Hubbard and Jimmy Lynch. So, but the new guys, I mean, I would say Forrest and Davis and Hutto would be the big ones.
That's awesome. Last year you had TJ Causton playing at third base. What triggered him to move to the outfield this year?
Well, we made that decision right after the season. You know, last year he needed to play third. Offensively, we were just better with him playing third. As soon as, and you know, when he decided to transfer here, that was one of the things I talked to him about. We need you to play third base just to make our lineup better. But he really has enjoyed going back to the outfield. That's his natural position. That's where he needs to play. And you know, we felt like after the season ended, moving him to center field, and that would allow us to move Cody Belcher over to left field, and you know, we were going to have to bring in a new third baseman, and so we've done that, and with Charlie Powell at third, and so I think it's been a big impact on our team because TJ's going to feel a whole lot more comfortable there defensively.
With so many good bats in the lineup, will it be difficult to come up with the batting order?
Golly, yeah. You know, I don't believe I've ever had a team that's going to have a 7, 8, 9 hole as good as this 7, 8, 9 hole. This is amazing. I mean, you could almost draw out of a hat. It's going to be as balanced as any I've ever had. I've said several times, potentially, it could be the best offensive team we've ever had. So we'll see. You know, potential's a big word. So, but yeah, it is. It's a little difficult. You know, I mean, I like to move Sean Miller up to the leadoff spot, so that's going to shift everybody around a little bit, and you're going to have to let your ego go if you're hitting 7th in our lineup because there's a lot of good hitters in our lineup. So just because you're hitting 7th or 8th doesn't mean anything in our order.
Okay, this is the 6th straight year you've opened up with Lincoln Memorial. How big is it? How big is this series for your team in order for them to get off on a good note?
Well, you know, I'm a traditional person. I like tradition. So we play Lincoln Memorial every year, opening series, and it's always big. They always play us very tough, very tough. And You know, they've had some success in the postseason the last couple of years, so that means that the games are even more important. So for us, you know, we jump into conference after 2 weekends, so it's very important for us to get on the right foot and get going. And I know our guys are anxious to play anyhow. So, but Lincoln Memorial is always a big series, and we need to get rolling quick. We need to come out of that box.
You're ranked number 14 in one of the preseason polls, with Lander being number 3. Do you feel as though Lander is a team to beat in the region, or could this be the best team you've had here?
Well, only time will tell. You know, those preseason polls are a lot about how you finished last year. That's what they're about, and I think there's what, 4 or 5 teams from the Peach Belt in the top 25 or 30, and basically it's teams that finished high last year. So you can't put a lot into that.
Right.
I like to think we're the team to beat, you know, and I think that's what a lot of the coaches in this conference would say. You know, who's got the consistency, who's been here year in and year out. So it's really not about who the team to beat is. It's about how you play in day to day. It's all about what we're doing today. That's all it's about.
All right. Give us your top 4 teams in the PBC.
Ooh, that's tough, but probably, hopefully us. I'm going to say Columbus State's going to be in there pretty good. I think Georgia College is going to be in there pretty good. Lander will be pretty good. We'll be okay, pretty good. I think we'll be pretty good. And so I'd probably go with those 4 right now.
Alrighty. While we're talking about predictions, give me your preseason predictions for your team. What one pitcher and one position player will have the best year?
Well, that's tough. You know, I would say pitching-wise, it could be Kumas, or it could be Hutto, or it could be one of those relievers, you know, that like Coley and Ben Black. I mean, they're so valuable, and James Lynch. So I would probably say the one guy that that might maybe come through for us would be, I'm gonna throw something out there, Eric Davis. You know, there's something that nobody's been talking about much, but he just keeps coming on, getting better every day. Position player could be any of them, but let's say Tyler Moore. Who knows? I think it could be Matt Bossy, it could be Cody Belcher, it could be Sean Miller, it could be T.J. Causton, it could be Tyler Moore, it could be Ty Barkell. I mean, it's unbelievable who it could be. So there's a lot of, what I say a while ago, potential in that lineup.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Good luck this season. I'm Brielle Jungblut, and thank you for tuning in to Coach's Corner.